Hello, I'm Dr. David Hornbook, the Clinical Director of Education and Technology here at Keating Dental Arts in Irvine, California. Today we're going to do a procedure using AMD's Picasso Lite diode laser. We're going to be performing a gingivectomy on Joanne. She has relatively short teeth. In fact, if we measure her central incisors, it is about 7.5 millimeters, and we'd like to see at least 10 to 12. We're not going to do any restorative on Joanne, so we're not going to be lengthening the incisal edge. So we're going to increase length, which will improve our width to height ratio of our centrals, by taking excess tissue away, or gingival tissue. Now, she is numb because we're going to go ahead and probe. What we're going to do now is evaluate what we call biological width. Studies have shown that we need a minimum of 2.5 millimeters between free gingival margin and osseous crest. So we're going to go ahead and probe, going through the pocket until we hit bone. Again, 2.5 millimeters. Here we're at about 4.5. The other central, we're at about almost 5, which means we can take 2 to 2.5 millimeters of excess tissue away, which will give us close to a 9.5 millimeter central, which certainly is going to have a nicer look for her. So we're going to use the AMD Picasso Lite. Excellent laser, very easy to use, very short learning curve. She'll have no post-operative pain, which is so nice with the laser. Now, the diode laser is attracted to dark pigmentation. So we're going to set our wattage, or how much energy we're going to use, based on how much melanin our patient will have in the gingival tissue. Joanne is Latina in descent, so you can see she has melanin pigmentation. So I'd like to use the least amount of energy to do the job. Now, I can either turn on an aiming beam with this laser, as you can see. This is not the laser itself. This is just an aiming beam. The diode laser energy is actually invisible. But because of photographic purposes, I'm actually going to turn that off. And so we'll be able to see a little better. Let's just dry that off for me, please, Jessica. So we're going to start at 1.2, which is relatively low wattage or low energy. So Joanne, make sure you let me know if you have any discomfort at all, okay? Now, the fact I'm getting a little bit of laser char, I'm actually going to drop the energy down. Typically, I don't want to see too much laser char. And very quick, very easy. Can we have some hydrogen peroxide, please? Okay, so let me go ahead and have some hydrogen peroxide. This is just a hydrogen peroxide with an Ultradent tip in a syringe, and this will just remove that char. So I just very gently wipe that away. Go ahead and rinse and dry. Okay. So we'll go ahead and check our depth again. We're still at about 3.5 millimeters, which means that we have another millimeter to take away. Now the diode with a gingivectomy, we do activate the tip, which means we either put it in articulating paper or a Sharpie felt pen or even a cork. We want the energy to be focused. So it's initiated or activated tip. Okay, turn toward me just a little bit. Good. Okay, can we have hydrogen peroxide, please? Again, we're just gently wiping away that laser char. Go ahead and rinse and dry for me. Good. All right, let's go ahead and take the lateral up. How you doing, Joanne? Okay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to take the canine up. Let's go ahead and probe the canine again, please. About 4 to 4.5. We can take a moist gauze and just activate the tip and wipe off any tissue that might be on that tip. Okay, let me go ahead and have the hydrogen peroxide. Okay, let's go ahead and rinse and dry. Okay, turn back toward me a little bit. Good. So we got one side done now. And let's go to the other side. How are we doing?
Okay.
Okay, not too much more. Notice there's really no bleeding at all, and this nice thing about the diode, it'll actually stop bleeding in case, let's say we're going to use it for gingival retraction. We're using this now instead of cord, where we can go in and into the sulcus and create a little trough, and if there's any bleeding, it'll actually stop the bleeding. The diode is a touch laser. So we are actually touching tissue, almost like as if we were using an electrosurge unit. Are you feeling this at all? Okay, good. Okay. Again, this is just 3% hydrogen peroxide. Better already. Turn toward me a little bit more. Good. And then we'll just do the other canine, then we'll check and make sure we have symmetry. The nice thing about a diode as compared to an electrosurge is that where we place our tissue, it's going to stay. Turn toward me a little bit more. Great. Okay, and then the other canine. Turn toward me a little bit more. Perfect. Okay, hydrogen peroxide. Okay, so we're done. You can see it only took about 15 minutes for this. Post-operative instructions, I'm going to have her use a rubber tip, and she's just going to go up into the sulcus like this for the next 2 or 3 days, 2 or 3 times a day. Gently into the sulcus. The healing is very, very fast. You can see it already looks great. And then I'm going to give her chlorhexidine just in a syringe with an alternate tip. And I just am going to have her just very gently in the next 2 days go around that gingival margin. It just promotes healing even faster. And I mean, the laser heals so fast by itself, but this will just help a little bit. Her post-operative pain will be only really the injection sites. You shouldn't have any discomfort with the laser at all. And it looks great, and it'll heal really, really fast. Already looks great. So we are able to lengthen almost 2 millimeters. We're at about 9.5. We started at about 7.5. She's going to have certainly a nicer display of teeth. So, you know, you look at the laser, it's quick, it's easy, it's become very affordable. I think every practice, every clinician should have a diode laser in their practice, whether it be gingivectomy, treatment of periodontal disease, ovate ponics, operculum removal, I mean, whatever it is, it's such a great adjunct to your clinical practice. My choice, obviously, is the Picasso or the Picasso Lite from AMD Lasers. It's a great company. is based in the U.S. All they do is make lasers, so you'll get great service. You'll always have the ability to get parts in the future. So hopefully this was beneficial, and I hope that you get an opportunity to use a diode laser in your practice in the near future.